I've been taking my temperature, capsule lymph, Calma Plus, thyroid. Unfortunately, they confused the thyroid complex at the border. Confiscated. Oh, unfortunately, confiscated the thyroid complex at the border. Considered medicine and not allowed without MD's prescription. Bones, parasite M. Taken pancreas for a couple of months and now changed to liver gallbladder. Confiscated thyroid complex. Oh, so I think I'm on the right track. You certainly are, dear love. Much love and blessings to you, New Zealand. But definitely I'm going to have them make a folder for you, sweetheart, and I'll always have your eyes here. Here's a comment by Observex10. I have nearly 1,200 friends in my Facebook network. I post all your new videos. Oh, thanks, bro. Thank you, man. Well, and some of your older ones. Oh, thanks. In the past month, I have noticed just a few taking interest, but not the ones I know need it the most. Yeah, and so it goes. Yeah, yeah, you know, all of us can sit around a campfire, hold hands and say, and there it goes. And that's it, and so it is. I mean, the world at large, you know, the spiritual people get together, and this is our conversations. You know, working on humanity and the upliftment and the awareness of people and helping folks that are just not open yet and that are still sleeping, and a lot of it. Sometimes tough love is necessary, and sometimes a lot of love is necessary. And most of you are pretty perspective. I've watched you and how you deal with other people, so you're very perceptive. My hair has been gone since I was 21, and I am now 54. Now, how long does it take to get it back? Not bad. I've seen people like that get it back within 3 or 4 months if I stay on fruit and fast. Get upper circulation. I guarantee you, it'll work faster for you if you clean up the bowels, you work on your lymph system, and you use upper circulation. You're going to notice your darkening of the hair around the nape and the sides and first. And then you'll start to see some sprouts. But definitely, also watch your take on colonics. 1 or 2. Mitch Moses, thank you for answering my questions. And John is coming back in to show how his hair came back. Yeah! Well, John, where the heck are you? You know, he's supposed to come in here. I can't make him. But he is a great story. Cancer all through him and all that. What I want to know is if my hair has been gone since, you know what? The body can regenerate. I don't care how old you are. But it does show something very serious, Mitch. And that is without hair that long, and you understand that generally acids and the lymph is the culprit here, that means that you were born with pretty good kidney and adrenals and a lymph system backed up. So I can, you know, I straighten that up. Get your lymph moving, get the bowels cleaned up, you know, get blood flowing up in that hair, and you'll get new hair growth. And it'll save you from your 54. It'll save you from, honey, where I parked the car. Because if you look at balding, and you look at dementia, and you look at Alzheimer's, This is a resubmission of a question I probably didn't get to. Jules, loving all the new vids. Oh, thanks, man. I especially love the one where you talk about music. I love Beethoven and Enigma. Oh, I love them. Yeah, Enigma really, you know, in a meditative state, can really do some flying with Enigma. I love that, man. The older stuff. The new stuff, he kind of going. But some people, you know, get that creativity out and hard for them to get it back. I see that in several groups like that. You know, they run their scan. A good friend of mine, Shania Twain, I'd love to see her come back and hit it hard. I'd be interested to see her first album, especially without Mutt. Let's see how she takes off. I find it amazing how composers like Chopin, without any lyrics, can tell such beauty. Yeah, Chopin, I mean, that's why, you know, reincarnation, karma. I mean, and not just that, it's just that when I look at you guys, I'm looking at powerful souls that are so much more than just a physical body. And I think due respect. We all must respect each other as these magnificent, beautiful spiritual beings that just kind of got our way lost in some ways. And I try to see everyone that way. Sometimes I give some tough love here, but I still see everyone as a beautiful soul that some of them just get a little waylaid a little bit. Which is, who cares anyway? I mean, that's creation. You know, I'm the creator. I want to see everything. I want to create everything, the ups, the downs, the backwards, and the forwards. And that's just what God is. But how interesting is it that the closer to the Godhead one gets, the more ecstasy, the more love. And I don't even want to use it as a word because it isn't a word. It isn't an emotion. Love is not an emotion. Divine love, it manifests, exudes, flows through, is consciousness. And I've always tried to, I've given different lectures through the years, and every time I'd give on love, it's hard to explain to the average person the difference between personal love and divine love. And the fact that divine love is an unconditional love for everything. Like the Rumi love I was telling you about. Jalaluddin Rumi, a beautiful poet. But at his story of his love for God is an intense story, which I dig intense stories because my love for God is intense, but of a God that is, and I only use the name because there's no name you can put on something that is this incredible, that is the producer of all things. I mean, it's just, there's no words to that. And the closer to that Godhead you get when you're stripped of these more finite bodies, there's just no words. I mean, it's just, and so when you see duality, you do see the positive and the negative, and some of the most horrendous negative things you've ever seen. Yet, as you get closer to the top of this pendulum of duality, the oneness begins to take place. The recognition of all things being from the one. The recognition that the alone state, and what that means to the Supreme Being, but also why is their creation. It's all kind of cool stuff. Someday we'll have another spiritual video, but I'm so busy doing these that I'm trying to interface that a little bit. Especially the one where you talk about me. Yes, I love all that. Your parasite is kicking my butt. Parasite M, huh? I wonder how. I had major rash hive reactions, as you should say. Woohoo! I am resubmitting a question that seemed to have gotten lost. Oh, I apologize, Jules. I'm sorry about that. I am wonderful when I can start training it. Oh, I'm wondering when I can start training again for martial arts and weightlifting. Oh, I love martial art, man. Spent a lot of years in that myself. I carried a bag around for years. I love to kick and work out on a bag. I haven't done it in years. I've been doing more garden work and putting fences up, carpentry work, stuff like that. But I do love the martial arts. I wouldn't miss Kung Fu when it came out. I wouldn't miss an episode. I had all the episodes of Kung Fu taped, loaned it to a friend, and he never gave them back. But boy, I would, no matter what. I'd go into a department store when Kung Fu was on to watch it, because I was living out in the woods, part of it. So I'd go in and find a department store and sit and watch Kung Fu. Love the philosophy. Love anything that's etheric, that broadens you. Man should seek that. If he seeks anything, to broaden, to feel good, to give more love, more respect, more humility. All these things are part and parcel to consciousness and growth and seeing all things as one. Therefore, you wouldn't hurt anything. But at the same time, you've got wars and you've got the other side of creation. So, to battle we go. That's why I like the Michael movie, because we can play at battle and then laugh about it over a glass of champagne or what. Now, I'm wondering when I can start training. If you get sediment in your urine, have at it. If you're not getting sediment in your urine and you're on a fruit diet or a raw food diet and you're taking the herbs, then I would hang on a little longer till I knew my lymph was filtering well, and then all the activity creating acidosis will have its route out. And we talked a great deal about this. And some of you have written in and have demonstrated this, that during activity with kidneys not filtering, it can have a negative impact on you. So just be smart about it's all. I mean, you can go ahead and do it, but I'm just saying, if you're hurting out there, be very careful about exercise if you're hurting. Get time to rest. Let your adrenals relax, let your lower back relax, let your kidneys relax, and let things start filtering. You're putting in the chemistry to help it filter. You don't need the activity. The activity just breeds more. It starts to change. Remember, we talked about the adrenal glands and your adrenalins, your epinephrine, your norepinephrine. Those are needed in activity. So just remember that when you increase your activity, you're shutting down your acetylcholines and dopamines, and you're increasing your adrenalins. Well, you're basically shutting down elimination to get for activity. You're putting the power of movement of urine and stool to the muscles. And therefore, you're going to have more ability and agility to move and to deal with whatever you have to deal with. So, contrary to what a lot of people think, rest is an excellent way to get well. And I told you about that lioness who was bit by a cobra. Remember, her two cubs went down, were eaten by the hyenas, and I think it was National Geographic filming this. What a great film. Because these guys stayed in this little hut even while this female lioness was down on the ground. It was like 3 or 4 or 5 days later. Remember, she got up after being bit by a cobra, which would kill anybody, shrugged it off, and walked off. So while she was in a deep kind of coma, the body cleaned itself, took care of it, got her up, and took off. That's cool stuff. And it just shows you the power the body has at rest of getting itself well. So just keep some of those little things in mind. Do follow your inner guidance with activity. If you feel like you have to move, you have to exercise, well, go ahead. Listen to that inner guidance. But keep remembering to get those kidneys filtering, get sediment in that urine, and you guys are down the road. I would eat some fats and building foods that like almond, coconut, yogurt. And things like quinoa. But do these foods counteract on the kidney and lymph formation? Because they are heavier foods. Well, I don't know about the almond coconut yogurt. I mean, in a life, where you're making that yogurt, fermenting almond milk and stuff, right? Or coconuts as well. I'd say that would be a treat. That would be something one would do if you're not detoxifying, that sort of thing. So, love and aloha to you, Julia. Thanks you so much for the question. So, you could do that. It's a treat, but I wouldn't make it a staple. Dano, hey man, how are you?